Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to All the Mods 6. So since last episode, it's been a little bit of time. I actually meant to get this video out and the world upload out during the last weekend, or what would be the last weekend, but it's not going to happen. Basically because I had to fix a couple things on here to get it ready for the world upload, and then I had to actually add back in Chiseled. And I'll show you why here in just a moment. And then I just had a really busy weekend. We were canning and stuff. But we are going to, as per usual, we're going to spend this episode kind of going over the base, what we've done, as kind of an update for anyone that is just joining the series, as well as for anyone downloading the world, so you kind of know where everything's at. So we're going to start over in the village part, which isn't completely finished, of course, but this is actually where we began with our building work. And over here, actually, let's start right over in here first, where we kind of have the dock area. This is purely decoration, even though we did actually store some fish here. And we will probably add some fishing, some automatic fishing over in this area, I imagine, before all is said and done. Over here is an area that we were going to set up for hopping bonsais, but they turned out to be a little bit more expensive than I had anticipated, I suppose. So I haven't actually got this set up at the moment. But and then, of course, over here is our forge, where we spent a couple episodes setting up some early game sort of ore doubling using tinkers. So we have our foundry and we have our smeltery where we do our tinkers work. And then this, of course, this is actually meant to be closed up with these two blocks, but I have it open at the moment. Just so that I can move back here, since we didn't have lava or blazing blood actually automated at the moment. Or soul lava, as it were. That's what we're going to be going with long term. Anyways, all the ores that we run through this, except for molten osmium, because there's like two different versions, and I have one of them running through this, but one of them not running through it yet. All the rest of the ores do get sent through kind of whitelisted ducts, and then it's sent down around to this casting area here. And that's how we do our ore doubling, and that's all transferred over, of course, to this area. Now you're going to notice a couple spots as we do the world tour. This is where Chiseled was removed, and we had it removed for a short time, and then I had to add it back to fix something. So we actually had some crates back here. They've been removed, and I've got to re-add those, as well as item frames that were on top of those crates and just different things. It ended up affecting us more than I originally thought it would. And I ended up having to add it back. Now back in here is kind of some of our chipped workstations. Now, I'm missing a couple chip tables. That's because they're still over there. I need to move them back. But we have kind of general sort of block clutter storage within this room. And I'll try to get those two chip tables. They're over there in the elemental craft area. I need to move them back. But we have our various chip tables kind of around this area. And then if we head up, we have kind of a mystical agriculture workroom where we have different crafts laid out, and we can just add to these, and then various blocks made up, and more just kind of block clutter storage up in here. So out here is just kind of an overlook, so if the town was under attack, of course, our guards could stand up here and rain down arrows, theoretically, onto intruders. Now down here, we have, this is of course just a decorative garden, just to add some life to this sort of riverbank area here. And, oh yeah, and I've got to fix this. I'll try to remember to fix that before the world upload. That's where blazes burned up a few of my blocks here. I had forgotten about that, to be honest. But over here we have a couple of our primary apiaries. These are the ones that are actually running at the moment. Well, beehive setups, but what will become apiaries. And of course our rats collect it. Now bear in mind, if you are getting the world upload, you will want to add back in rats, Ratlantis, and Chiseled. Because I have those currently added back into the world. Originally I was going to leave Chiseled out, but it broke a lot of things and I just didn't really feel like fixing it. Because it was a massive chunk of stuff over there that we'll talk about. This area did have some more crates, but of course, with the chiseled being removed temporarily, those are removed. We'd used a lot of those for decor. And then over here we have, this is our more important bees. At the moment we have emerald, we have gold. We also have, what, dirt, I think? Stand, dirt, and slime. That's the other one. So we have those in here, and then we have a sweet shrine with an acceleration upgrade and nectar and efficiency, kind of speeding all this up. So our bees actually run pretty quickly at the moment. But we will be making some moves here soon. We were actually going to be doing it before this world upload, but then we spent a bit of time on that project that we did last, and we're going to be tackling some bees as soon as we do one more episode of Mana and Artifice. So, of course, over here is our early wood and essence system. So we have item users that are rotated and activate all of these pots. Since the hopping botany pots were a little bit expensive for us. And then we have various item storage around that. Back in here, of course, is... And of course, we're getting these lag spikes. That's because of the updates. Because whenever packs don't test things and decide, like, oh, we want to change World Gen mid-pack, it does that. So... but anyways, we have kind of general mob storage back in here. Currently no AE2 or refined storage, though we are going to be starting into those fairly soon. Back in here is kind of magical storage, as well as where we do our brewing back in here in our little witch hut. And on that note, actually, these can be repaired within the Mana and Artifice repair systems that we have in place. So just a heads up there. Now back in here, we do have a few chests that I need to sort out in places, and I'll get to that. But I did sort a lot of them down before the world upload, but I haven't got them all quite sorted. But actually right here was our very first building that we ever made, and this is just kind of plant storage and stuff at this point. And then we were actually living out of this for a time, but now we have more stuff set up. So this is just kind of our tree house that sits over here, our old little tree house. Let's see, we'll head off to the left and then we'll go back the other way. So in here is our sheep farm. This was automated with rats, but they were killed, and we're going to make some really nice upgrades for those, but we have not yet. Back in here is our mystical agriculture altar for crafting our seeds and stuff, which has been moved a few times, but I think this one is set to stay here. But I do plan on having a few more of those setups as time goes on. Now this right here is another bee system where we have copper bees. This is just for breeding, though we are going to be setting those up for automation before too long. So expanding on our bee system. And then back in here is another automation area, or breeding area. Currently no bees in here, but we did use this a little bit. And these, of course, are going to be added bee setups once we start pushing into getting more bees and things. Now this is actually the location of what's going to be our mine. I was working on that and I got a little bit sidetracked in terms of building, but I'll come back over to this at some point. As mentioned, I will not be automating any sort of ore mining until this is actually set up properly and kind of basically just designed out a little bit more than anything. So currently that's where we do a lot of our mining for stuff that we don't have easier ways of getting. So we are getting emeralds and gold from bees, but that's it. Oh, that's a sylph. I was like, what is that? I don't know why there's a sylph underground here, but apparently she likes it down here. And then over here we have our blood magic and our Britannia. This is all just temporary location. This is because, of course, we pushed progression to access certain parts of the mods, but didn't really commit to those mods as of yet. Over here is what's going to be a little auto farm setup, but I just haven't planted anything out here. It's been set up this way for a while because we actually have a harvester that we made and have yet to really get a use for it. Now out here is, of course, kind of a big setup that we just finished working on, that we will be expanding on, but all the stuff is in working order. That produces our peat for us, using primarily rats and golems, moving everything. So you can see crafting tables, crafting various different things here. So the trees grow and get broken. Munch dews get mana for duplicating our leaves. And of course we have a dropping system here that keeps, how much do we keep in stock? 5 oak leaves in stock, and they're being sent over from this. And then those oak leaves and everything is used to make our peat right down here, and then that gets turned into saturated peat and sent over. Botania flowers, which are being produced up here using elemental craft for that, and then they get broken and sent over via luminizer. And then, let's see, down here we have our golems, which something, actually I noticed this earlier, I need to fix this. Let me grab this. I've noticed my golems sometimes get stuck for some reason. Oh, I already got one on here. And I need to set up an hourglass just that runs every, few minutes. It seems to be related to world restart, I think. And so what happens is they get locked up and the lodestone just needs to be updated. It doesn't do it on that one, but it seems to do it on these two for some reason. But of course these manage our furnaces where the peat from over there gets duplicated and then it gets processed to where we have our enriched peat, which of course then produces power. Currently we only have the one peat generator, but right now our power needs are so minimal that it's way more power than we need. It's basically there for kind of a preemptive setup before we start into tech, is what it's there for. So, and then if we head over, let's go back towards the village here. And if we head over the bridge, we have some various little decorations down along through here. And if we head over to our Temple of the Rat, this is where we spent a bit of time. We did a little speed build, or not speed build, but kind of a cut build for our temple here. We'll head inside in just a moment. You can see a lot of missing crates that were over here. That's because of Chiseled being removed. But of course this golem manages this whole area where things are sent over to get processed by our centrifuge controller for our multi-block centrifuge for our bees. This right here is actually a bee breeding area. We haven't used it yet since it was first set up. But we have different crates here for basically storing up our bees, which then if we don't want to go in there, we can access from the outside here. We have item storage related to our bees over in this area. So we have, quite a bit of emeralds and gold and stuff being stored over in this area. This route is part of the old setup, which didn't quite work out because rats were being buggy for us. If we head over to here, this is our chicken killing area, and we also get our eggs and stuff from over here, which are stored into this little area here. Over here is ore duplication for using elemental craft for our emeralds and our gold from our bees. Back over here is a farm area, just basically more decorative than anything, and then theoretical produce storage in there. Over here actually is where we were originally going to build a building which would house our mana and artifice, but we ended up setting it up over there. There's still kind of some remnants of stuff. We are going to be building over here before too long, so I just kind of left everything. It's not going to be the original materials that I had laid out, but we are going to be building over here. So it's already cleared, just not used for our original intentions. So now if we head into our Temple of the Rat, this is where our rats are held. So we have these are like special rats, special breed rats. We have fishing over here, which is backed up at the moment, so our rats are just hanging out at present. So I need to set up something to kind of clean that out, but right now it's kind of backed up. Back in here we have our initial power setup, which is just rats on spinning wheels producing power, which is actually plenty of power for our needs, but we are going to be pushing into a little bit more power intensive stuff soon. Over here we have our gem cutter rat, so he makes squash balls and stuff. This was our original rat setup that uses compressed garbage so that we could get rats for taming and things, but we don't really use this one anymore because we definitely don't need rats for taming. Oh, it looks like this is backed up. I'll tell you what, just to keep items from getting thrown into there, I'm going to throw that in here. This is our rats that produce tiny coins, so they're kind of our gambling rats that hang out right in here. Back in here we have cheese production for expanding upon our rat empire. Lots of cheese, a rat that crafts cheese, and yeah, we have lots and lots of cheese. And back in here we have our breeding area, which is currently turned off at the moment, so we have males and females in different cages, but this is where we breed our rats. But it got a little bit excessive. We had tons of rats. Probably kick it back on before too long. I think we got about probably about 30 rats in here maybe still, so we do have a little bit of room to kind of fill our needs. Now back in here we have our potato farm. This is for making our confit bialdi. You can see a dark space here because there were supposed to be crates stacked up that our rats could then climb up to the tunnel, but after we removed Chiseled, after the update removed Chiseled, and before I re-added it, those blocks got removed, so I'll have to add them back in. But right now we have tons of confit bialdi, so it's not a big deal. Right here is our rat dark room that just basically spawns lots and lots of rats, produces a ton of XP, produces a ton of items. Also a really great inferior essence farm. You know, we just took a bit of it out of there, but we have tons of rat pelts, which we use as our leather. Tons of chunky cheese tokens, which we don't really have any use for anymore. Back in here is our current temporary enchanting area, which as soon as we finish up our mana and artifice area, we are going to be kind of cleaning that up, even though we are going to be doing our initial enchanting for our Ratlantis stuff with mana and artifice instead of normal enchanting. So back in here is our rat dining hall, where our rats, of course, can hang out and eat. And then we have our kitchen back in here, where our chef rat does all the food prep for our confit bialdi. So then back in here we have our plastic kind of reclamation area. A little bit of power being generated by this rat, which is then transferred by a rat with the energy transfer upgrade, which is moved over basically to power the wireless heat transmitter to do our cooking with the golden furnace. And then right here we have a system of basically trashing items. Create trash, which then gets broken until we get plastic, which is then smelted and stored into here. So for all of our plastic needs. Now if we head on up, this floor right here, we haven't added anything into it just yet, so it's kind of empty at the moment. And then if we head up one more time, we enter the rat throne room, which originally had some stuff on the side, but it was removed due to Chiseled being removed. A lot of things unfortunately got broken with the last update that has to be fixed. But this is our rat throne room, where we have our queen rat. Rat king's crown, but it's our queen rat. So and then if we head up right here, we have access to our Ratlantis portal, and up above here, which I haven't added stairs just yet, but we do have our nether portal atop here, so which is currently accessed via scaffolding outside of here. So and then let's pop over next to the elemental craft area, which of course is right over in here, and this is kind of the hub for our elemental craft work. Not completely finished at the moment, but we will be kind of coming back to this a little bit. Just got sidetracked with mana and artifice, basically decorating this out and stuff before too long. So what we've got is our various different elements, each one having a facing. So air, water, earth, and fire over there. And then we have various different little setups. I'm not going to go over all those. that just kind of help us craft things a bit easier. Actually, here is our carpenter's table. I'm going to take that, and I think our other table's like over there. I need to put those back where they go. I still have a bunch of like assorted junk over here that needs to be sorted away, but I'll get to that. There's certain things that I have stored that are starting to be a little bit kind of field that I'm running out of space for, and like I said, we're going to be moving into better storage solutions before too long, but right now it's kind of a little bit of a mess in places. Now over here, this is where removing Chiseled and leaving it removed became a huge problem, because all of the stuff uses chiseled blocks from the Chiseled mod, because we built this before that mod was removed. And it turned this entire area, pretty much, into one big missing texture. It was a huge fiasco. So I ended up just adding it back in, because I really didn't want to have to do all this. Platforms, it's not super annoying to build with it, but it does, it does take a little while. And this was actually quite a bit of materials with all the wood and stuff. I need to actually clean up a lot of these vines as well. I was actually planning on doing this, but I was waiting for them to grow because, I needed to see where all the vines came down. And apparently while we were working on our project, a lot of these have now grown. So, but yeah, so I ended up re-adding in Chiseled to fix this because it was all missing texture. But at least it kept the blocks. So adding it back in was a quick, easy fix for us. Now over here is going to be the site of another mana and artifice setup. Haven't added it in just yet because I was kind of wrapped up with that project over there, as well as a lot of Tales work, getting a couple dungeons finished up. And I'm currently, I posted, for those of you in the Patreon chats, you saw some screenshots of a dungeon that I'm working on that I was hoping to get finished out this weekend, which I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it finished out by this coming weekend, but we'll see. We shall see. I ended up using most of this past weekend was spent doing our last round of canning. I thought we were done canning, but we ended up doing another big round of canning to kind of finish out the year, and that took most of my weekend. So, also took our son to his very first haunted house, which he loved. He's now 6, so it was the first year where he wasn't like deathly against going to a haunted house. He was actually kind of interested in it, and he ended up having a ton of fun. So I was very, very proud of him. I was hoping that he would have a lot of fun. So back in here, we have kind of this little altar set up, a mana crystal over in here, and we're going to be adding some slipstream generators to this to actually act as kind of an elevator system up to this next floor here. And then this will be kind of a sunken temple that will be getting implemented here very, very soon. This is where we do kind of our spellcraft work for mana and artifice, and then we make our motes of mana. I left this set up because we end up using a lot of motes of mana, it seems like, so I've got that there. I did clean up and kind of consolidate some of this clutter. I could probably get it down to one chest now. May try to get that cleaned up the rest of the way. And there's my other table. There you are. We take that. And then, of course, this is our mana and artifice area. So, at the moment. And I did kind of sort a lot of our stuff up onto these shelves here. And then we have our golem crafting area back in here. And then I dumped all of our extra rune markings into this chest just to get them out of the way. And, of course, this is our item repair setup. So we can throw items that need to be repaired into this. Unfortunately, it does not work with Tinkers. It does not work, of course, with Tartaric gems, which makes sense. It's not really durability, it's wheel, but sometimes you can find bypasses for that, which kind of work in a weird way. But it does work with our armor, like our sentient swords. It works with our charms, most things that are actual durability, except for Tinkers. It doesn't work with Tinkers, so... I think probably because of the way that the durability is handled within that mod, which makes sense, but we have been testing various different things just to see if they work with that. So, And that's pretty much the base as it stands right now. Of course, we do have a few places like the end portal. You know, we can teleport to that. We need to get that sorted. It keeps putting them in front. But these 4 are for our actual base. So, but yeah, so quite a bit that we've done in the first, like, what, 27 episodes or whatever. But we do still have, a bit of various different things that we are working on. And a lot of decorating and stuff to do. But I'm pretty happy with the progress thus far. So our village and everything is kind of starting to come together, and we're starting to have a lot of activity between rats and golems and whatnot around our base. So I am pretty happy about that. But I think that's pretty much everything at present within the base. So we will end out this base tour here, and of course down in the description there will be a world upload, but if you grab it, if you want everything intact, make sure that you do add back in rats, Ratlantis, and Chiseled, because I am currently using those within our world. So just a heads up there, and beyond that, I think that is everything. And of course we got a bunch of bees in here for our breeding, you know, bees that we had captured and stuff. As far as my inventory, I will leave it, let's see, I'll probably leave it in our treehouse, since that is kind of at the moment sort of our home. So I'll leave it in a chest up here. So if you guys want access to that, my baubles and my backpack and all that stuff will be up here. So just a heads up. Actually, I'll leave it in this chest right here. So if you need to take a look at any of my stuff, it'll be there if you're interested in it. My weapons and all that. My various different baubles and all will be there as well. So anyways, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode here, and then next episode, when we come back, I think we're going to either be tackling some mana and artifice, or we're going to do our bees. I'm not entirely sure which one yet, because both of which I would really like to get up and going. Mana and artifice we're going to be pushing on to basically max tier and doing some various different little things with that. At least to get our progression out of the way, just like we did with like elemental craft. You know, I kind of want to push and get all just the progression, the bulk of that out of the way, and then we can kind of delve into a bit more interesting stuff. But then after we do some bees and some mana and artifice, we are going to be turning our attention over to a little bit of tech, because we haven't even started tech really throughout this whole series. So but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.